Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Cashflows. I'm your host today, Cash Matthews. And boy, we've got a great show headed for you today. We have Josh Talbert in the studio. We'll introduce him officially in just a moment. But Cashflows is a show dedicated to those trying to take the next step in life, whether you're an entrepreneur, just building a lifestyle. Maybe the questions we answer are health or financial related. But I want to say we're glad you're here. And, you know, sometimes, Kenneth, we get stuck, we get stranded. You know, maybe we've got a big goal and we just don't execute it the right way. Or we need another set of eyes on what we do. We need a coach. We need a mentor. Sometimes we end up with a tormentor, and you need an actual mentor to help you through. And but, you know, we like the concept of copying success off of your neighbor, which is great advice when you're an adult, but really bad advice in the third grade when your Aunt Dorothy is also your third grade teacher, as I found out, unfortunately, by copying off my neighbor, Joe Mark. And we'll get him on the show one day and find out why he was so much smarter than me. But we bring people into the studio that are smarter than me, which is that's not a big hurdle.
Well,
I mean, let's just call it what it is. But that you can glean information from the success they've had or are having, and that they might share those things with you right here on Cashflows. So I want to officially introduce my co-conspirator in the show, Mr. Kenneth Bauckham. Kenneth, good morning.
good morning. How are you?
Man, I am good. I am fired up today.
Good.
We had a great last show, you know, and I know this one's going to be great. I can't wait to introduce Josh and talk about him a little bit. He's a karaoke guy and can sing and perform, but that's not his business. But these are just.
I was going to say, we have music. I mean, we can set up a karaoke real quick.
You know, we could just do karaoke today, like, you know, fire up some Kenny Rogers or something.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. And I know we've got a lot of great sponsors, but I don't want to really talk about them right now. I'm kind of just thinking about the fact that the Tulsa Business Owners Networking Group, the B.O.N.G, right? So many folks from there are showing on our show, and we're hosting our podcast there as well. That a lot of entrepreneurs are listening in and maybe looking for a piece of daily wisdom from us. And I thought, you know, what does it take, Cash? We're all trying to win at this thing that we're doing. What does it take to win?
Wow. I don't know how much time you have.
We have approximately 3 minutes.
Oh, wow. So How to Win in 3 Minutes by Kenneth Bauckham.
Right.
You know, I've worked, Kenneth, with entrepreneurs my whole life, and I think there are characteristics of people who win. Mm-hmm. And there are some main ones for me, from my standpoint, that cause somebody to win, because you meet people who have had success and they come from all personality types. It's not just this aggressive personality type. People talk about being a beast, but, you know, we have people in our group like Stephanie Hall. She's sweet and wonderful and not aggressive, and she's killing it. You know, so how does one person win and one person not win? And I think one of the big characteristics that I see the most in people who have succeeded, I've been very fortunate to work with Olympic athletes, recording artists who've actually recorded, you know, people who've had some accomplishments in their lives, and they have a belief system that is very different than most people's. And the very first thing I see in that belief system is just a complete acceptance of self-responsibility. They're not looking to somebody else for the answer. Everything rises and falls with them. They have a decided heart. You know, champions have a decided heart. They have decided. The word decide means to cut off all other possibilities, and comes from the Greek origin of the word aside. And once you decide that something's going to happen, I believe its likelihood is almost assured. But many people run around in this world. They say they've started a business, but they kind of have their toe in it, and they never went all the way in. But the ones that I see making it, they're all in with their idea. Does it mean that they have fear? Yeah, of course, everybody has fear. They just face it anyway and do it. Does it mean that that everything's perfect? No, not at all. They have a decided heart. And that's our philosophy of fire, aim, ready. They start. Do they start perfectly? Heck no, nobody does. Do they finish perfectly? I don't think there is such a thing. But here's the thing. Something done poorly is way better than something undone perfectly. And winners start. Winners adapt. Winners are willing to get educated and make those changes along the way that fire, aim, ready. Fire, aim, ready is a great starting philosophy, but it's not the greatest finishing philosophy. You have to find a way to finish. And once you have a decided heart about what you do, once you accept full responsibility for what you do, man, the game changes. That is a game changer for those people. And, you don't see Michael Jordan blaming the refs for a loss.
Right.
Because he sure doesn't congratulate them when he has a win.
Yeah.
And that moment when you go, win or lose, this is on me. Pray your way through it. But God doesn't need to steer a parked car. This thing, whether you win or lose, it's up to you. This debate about whether or not you're good enough, you're the only voter in that debate. So make sure you make the right decision. You're all the way bought into the deal, and you've recognized that if it's to be, it's up to me. And with that, let's get on with the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you,
And our guest comes in this morning, another person that we've met through the Business Owners Networking Group, Mr. Josh Talbert. Josh, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Morning, Cash. Glad to be here.
We are super excited that you're here today. You can find Josh online in multiple places, legacyleadershipconsulting.org. You can find him and his group on Facebook and on LinkedIn as well. And I believe you still have your MySpace account.
I'm sure it exists.
It's probably out there. Tom was your first.
Tom was a great friend.
He was a great friend. I miss him. I haven't had an email from
Wonder
Tom.
what he's up to these days.
I don't know. I looked for his Facebook page and couldn't find it. Anyway, we are glad you're here. Now, before we get to know you a little deeper, we met through the Business Owners Networking Group, the B.O.N.G. Funny name, great people.
Great people.
And we would love it if you could just share a minute about your take on your toke on the B.O.N.G. Can I say that?
Whoa.
I don't even know what any of this stuff is. I've only seen one B.O.N.G.
You've just
in
been
my
repeating
life.
words here.
Yeah, I just repeat what others say. How's the B.O.N.G. been for you? Give us your experience with it.
It is unlike any other networking group I've ever come across.
Wow. Oh, can you repeat that? That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we like that.
It is unlike any other networking group I have ever come across.
Wow, I've heard that twice this morning.
And what I mean by that is my background is in human resources, so I'm affiliated with lots of different groups with the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, and this group, I can tell you, I have never had anyone from SHRM babysit my kids.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
That's happened 3 times already with the B.O.N.G. group, and I've been in the group less than a year.
Right. And you put it out there, and people just kind of team up.
And there was one instance where I had a speaking engagement where our childcare fell through. My wife was going to be my official photographer for the event.
Right.
So she had to stay home with the kids. And no kidding, I put the request out at like 10 p.m. the night before the event on the B.O.N.G. Facebook group, and I had a photographer the next morning.
Wow. And they were able to come with you and shoot the deal, and it was just that quick. Wow.
It's an incredible group.
Though we tipped the first domino on the B.O.N.G., the B.O.N.G. is such a big group now. We crossed 5,700 yesterday members.
Wow.
And we'll cross 5,800 tomorrow. And it's growing at a rate that you would, but it's growing with people. Kyle Sullivan, the Unleash the Champ coach, has a phrase about the B.O.N.G., and it is, meet people, make friends, money will follow. Do you support that concept?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Kyle's a great friend.
Yeah, Kyle, and he is. Let me tell you, that's what's great about the B.O.N.G. is people make friends. My father passed away 2 months ago, about 8:00 p.m. on a night when it made sense. There was a knock at my door. There wasn't a phone call or a text. Kyle Sullivan shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I'm coming in." That was it. And he stayed with me 3 hours. And, just the ability to create friendships like that is remarkable.
Yeah.
And I am forever thankful for the friendship. The group is cool, and the group is growing, and that'll swell your ego and all that kind of stuff if you let it. But man, I'm like this. At the end of this month, there's 12 of us. We're all going to Broken Bow just to take a weekend.
That's awesome.
And we took 35 people on a cruise, and 77 people to a hockey game, and 300 people to a bowling event. And We've been to New York City with B.O.N.G members and traveled and had babysitters and people doing our yard and cleaning our gutters. And like, it's actually a little town.
Yeah, it's a community.
And for me, truthfully, I was just trying to make a few friends. And now here we are. So anyway, we're glad you're here. Thank you for being here this morning. Well, so we want to learn about what you do. So first, we'd like an overarching statement about what Legacy Leadership Consulting is. And so tell us just a little bit about that. And I want to know more about you and less about the company, but let's let our listeners, for those that are, get in and get out in 4 minutes, let's let our listeners know exactly what you do.
So I do HR and leadership development consulting.
Okay.
So I do coaching as well. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Speaker, Trainer, and Coach.
Wow.
And so that means I have a license to use Dr. John Maxwell's content to build tailored training and coaching plans for both organizations and individuals.
What a person to be partnered with.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a contribution John Maxwell has made to the entrepreneurial world. And, he's one of those guys that if, on the B.O.N.G page every day, we have people go, hey, I'm starting a business. What should I do? I mean, the first answer is read a John Maxwell book.
Every time.
And that kind of goes back to the comments that I made about ownership of responsibility. And he's huge on that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think we are all like-minded here this morning. So we want to get to know you and find out your philosophy and who you are and whether you like ketchup on a hot dog and, the big pressing questions.
That's a big one.
Let's get to that at the end. I mean, I don't want to just jump right in at the big question.
Yeah, we'll leave them in suspense.
Yeah,
That's right.
So let's talk about somebody so that we can know you. Who's somebody that you admire at a high level?
Starting with the easy ones, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, truthfully, it's my wife.
Okay.
So we have 3 kids, 9, 3, and 2, the ages. So they're pretty young, and I'm always tired.
Yeah.
That's one of the bags under the eyes.
Right.
But that gap between the first 2 was not for a lack of trying, right? So we went through a number of years of infertility and struggle, and anyone that's been through that understands.
Yeah, we have.
And it's hard.
That's hard.
Even as a man, it's hard.
It is hard.
And now my wife is due March 1st with someone else's baby. She is a surrogate for a couple from Spain who's been struggling for over 5 years with infertility.
Oh, my goodness.
And the fact that she can give back to someone, to some people, and help them through something that we couldn't get help with.
Right.
In a way that, of course, I can't.
Right.
And that most can't.
Right.
And to give so selflessly of herself to do something that difficult for someone else.
Wow.
She's my hero, man.
Well,
she's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I'm going to weep. Thanks for that. And that's our show. That is phenomenal. Like I have heard of that. I have not known anybody personally.
Nice to meet you.
Well, yeah. That is amazing. So she's due March 1st?
March 1st. Yeah.
Wow. So she's right in the middle of it right now.
Near the end.
Yeah, near the end of it.
Golly. Yeah, 3rd trimester.
Wow, prayers from our entire group to her and
Thank
to
you.
the new family and to the new baby. That's phenomenal.
Oh, the story gets wilder too.
Yeah, we'll get that on a second podcast. I want to hear more about that off the air. So do you have time for? Okay, so I heard you sing karaoke.
Oh,
and you were a very gifted singer. That was awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll have another karaoke. We're going to just name it Cash and Karaoke because that's funny.
Nice.
That is funny.
That's what we do.
I hit
here.
the button for that one.
But do you have time for hobbies and pastimes and things of that nature?
Well, as a parent of 3 young kids, not nearly as much as I would like.
But if there were time,
when there is time, seldom. I don't get to do it much, but I do enjoy karaoke.
Right.
Even as an introvert, you can do extroverted things as an introvert occasionally.
Right.
Beyond that, actually, my wife and I play Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. That's a
Wow.
video game?
Yeah.
I missed that whole thing. I had the Nintendo, and that's where it stopped for me right there. So I never got past that.
Oh, it began with Duck Hunt for me.
So Duck Hunt, that was an arcade game, right?
That was a Nintendo.
Was it
You had the
Nintendo?
Yeah.
You had the little gray and red loud trigger.
Okay, I
Those
think
were the
I
days.
think I had Donkey Kong. Was that a Nintendo game?
That was on Nintendo.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was on, yeah. So that's it was a Donkey Kong
that's
reject.
awesome.
Yeah, I never could figure it out. So no golf or anything like that. I mean, that's my sport, and I like to ask people.
I
if
never
they
got
golf.
into golf for two reasons. I was a lifelong soccer player,
Okay.
and golf was way too slow for me.
Ah, all right.
So I had 45 minutes at a time of action,
Right.
and in golf you get action, 30 seconds at a time?
At the most, and the ball's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a defender
And
running up on you.
I'll tell you, the first time I played, I've only played like 3 times ever.
Right.
The first time I played, when I hit the ball, it didn't even make it to the women's tee.
Oh,
It was-
there's a penalty for
It
that.
was real bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
they told me what it was.
Yeah, let's
I'll-
not talk about that. Okay, so well, you're a lot like me. My wife and I, when we got married, as a joke, said that we were going to have like a top 5 excluded list should we ever meet any of these celebrities that we could go on a date with.
Okay.
And and I had a celebrity crush.
Uh-oh.
Did you ever have one of those? Or
Not really. There were the ones that I kind of wish I could mimic and like do their career for little bits of time.
yeah,
But not really like a crush, like,
yeah.
opposite gender, that kind of deal.
Yeah, it never really paid off.
Yeah.
Just do you have a celebrity crush? Is there somebody out there that?
Absolutely. I think everybody should.
Yeah, I don't want to admit that mine were all pro golfers.
Mine is actually someone that I think most people would find attractive,
Okay,
talented,
right.
just generally a good person.
Okay.
It's Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I love that dude.
I don't necessarily find him attractive, but he's a great guy.
I find him very attractive. Like if I could pull that look off, I would.
Well,
I've got so many missing elements.
it's the hair.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah. I mean, I read stories about him that he's a very kind man and very normal.
Yeah,
And he's a music dude.
he is. And well, first of all, John Wick is one of the baddest action heroes of our time.
I agree. Watched it continually.
The Matrix is to this day still one of the best sci-fi thrillers ever made.
Right. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's the greatest business movie in the history of mankind.
Oh, I could see it.
It's about choices. Today we talked about having
Yeah.
a decided heart. Blue pill, red pill.
Yeah, red or blue.
It's about these choices and what one renders. Keep going. We're talking about Keanu Reeves now. If you know him, we would love to have him on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he would
I'd
be
love
a
to be
great
here.
guest. We will, because I was a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure person.
Nice.
And, it's one of those things where you see a picture of them with the air guitar and you hear it. Be excellent to each other. Those are our closing remarks. Very cool. What else about Keanu Reeves?
He's I mean, you mentioned it when I said his name. There's so many articles out there that just show how generous he is, how kind he is
Right,
to everyone.
right.
To not just the cast and the staff that he works with to produce his films, but people on the street. And I don't remember what the number is, and I don't know the story exactly, but I remember reading about his earnings from The Matrix
Right,
that he donated like 90% of it.
right,
Like he could have, but he didn't get rich off The Matrix.
right. Well, he's got a different kind of value.
Yeah.
That's there's economic values, but there's a value system that you wish everybody had, and he's that guy.
Yeah, and that's
Well, that's an excellent
why I
answer because
admire him.
I was going to say like Shania Twain or Marie Osmond or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But, I'm old school. Well, that's a great answer. I appreciate that very much. Well, let's talk a little bit about your business, legacyleadershipconsulting.org. We're here with Josh Talbert learning about leadership, and he is a John Maxwell Certified Coach. Is that the right word?
yes.
And tell us when you began to learn this concept of leadership training, because I want to say this in advance of getting to know more about your business. Everybody needs a coach. We start thinking about these athletes. My favorite golfer of all time is Jack Nicklaus. Every year he went to his coach and said, "Hey, my name's Jackie. Please teach me to play the game of golf," or something like that. And he was the greatest golfer at that time, but every year he went back for coaching, or Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan or any of these people. And people say things like, I'm in beast mode. Well, hey, Michael Jordan was in beast mode, and he relied on his coach to help drive the bus.
Yep.
Talk to us about when you first began to realize you wanted to be a leadership coach.
That's actually a fairly new thing for me,
Yeah,
to have that kind of a title anyway.
right.
So my interest in leadership really began while I was in the military. My experience with leadership actually began in like 9th grade.
Right.
Right. I sat first chair tuba in the high school band.
We get a lot of first chair tuba people here.
Yeah,
don't we?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Tuba player.
Well, you're the first one, but we're hoping for more.
They're great people.
Yeah. If you can rock the tuba in high school, you have self-confidence
That's right.
oozing from you.
Let me tell you, I rocked it.
Rocking the
I
tuba.
did.
Marching band or just like an orchestra setting?
All of the above.
All of that. Cool.
Marching band here
Yeah.
as well, right?
Orchestra, marching band, jazz band,
Awesome.
brass quintets, you name
Oh
it.
yeah, we got to talk music later.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Make a note of that.
Yes. Note taken.
Get it? Note.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Right.
Hang on, I'll hit the. There we go.
I'll give it a rest.
Okay.
Nice. See what you did there. Well, my interest in leading others, like for real, began for me in the military.
Right.
And the way the military works on the enlisted side when it comes to leadership is roll the dice. There's so in an enlisted career, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years as an enlisted member, at least in the Air Force, you get 3 opportunities for formal leadership training.
Wow.
3. And on the officer side, I mean, you get so much, you get, an associate's degree out of it just for your leadership training.
Wow.
Or more, depending on how long you're in.
Wow.
And so on the enlisted side, it's kind of a crapshoot. Whether you get someone who is a really good leader or not. And so you have to learn from both instances, right? From the not as good ones, you learn, okay, that sucked. I'm not going to be that guy.
Right.
And of course, you take what you can.
And that's the
everything
best
you
lesson.
can.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you take everything you can from the good ones.
Sure.
And where I really found my passion and got my fulfillment wasn't from doing my Air Force job or my National Security Agency job. Honestly, that was kind of boring for me. What I really found fulfillment in was engaging with others and developing relationships and developing people. And that for me began my leadership journey. I don't remember exactly how or when, but the idea of leadership, the art and the science of leadership, and learning more about it, becoming more effective in leadership, began for me when I got my hands on the copy of one of John Maxwell's books, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That was my very first leadership book.
Well, and what a great one to start with.
I mean, it stuck with me for, well, at least until now.
Yeah.
Right.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there truth to the belief that sometimes you have to believe in people more than they believe in themselves? Is that part of being a leader?
Yes. Simply yes.
Yeah, because we have this group of amazing people, and I think one of the things they don't realize is that they're amazing people. And I'm curious the role, in your role of leadership training, is part of that about self-awareness of who you are, where you are, and what you're capable of?
Oh, almost everything boils down to some level of self-awareness.
Right.
Right? Because to achieve anything greater than what you've already achieved, you have to grow.
Right.
Right. That means you have to become more than you are today.
Right. What got you here won't get you there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So and where self-awareness comes in is one of John's main concepts of know yourself to grow yourself.
Right.
You have to know who you are and where you are today to be able to discern who you want to be and where you want to be tomorrow.
Right. That's beautiful. Yeah. I don't know. I think the first thing that for me to attempt to become any sort of a leader is to really recognize that you love people.
You have to love people.
Because I've been in situations, and I think we all have where we don't love them. Maybe we loathe them. And, And I think we have to back way up from that and go, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? They think something that I don't think or believe something I don't believe. But I think it's in those people that we step back from a little bit, where we have the most to learn. And like you said, if you're super comfortable, you're probably not growing into a leader. You're probably growing out of that. So I appreciate that. So any other trainings outside of the John Maxwell world, or has your training been primarily in his leadership development program?
So, of course, I went through the leadership training that I did go through in the Air Force. I got out and I got my undergrad in human resources management. Of course, there's leadership courses through that program. Went on for an MBA. There's leadership courses through that program.
Right.
And, I get out into my career in HR, and I'm in almost every one of my roles except one. I was training leaders.
Right.
For the most part, it's frontline supervisors, mid-level managers, and my most recent role before leaving to start my business, I was actually coaching executives.
Okay. So these are executives that they're employees.
Yes.
They're employees of some corporation.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Very cool. Hey, before we go any further, Kenneth, I think we should do a break and talk about our wonderful sponsors here at Cashflows. Who do you have for us today?
Today, we're going to talk about CM Customs. With CM Customs, you can embark on a journey into the realm of affordable custom gifting and branded excellence with CM Customs. From custom trophies to personalized closing gifts, lake maps, drinkware, and professional branded items, we're your go-to for unmatched customization, making you the hero of every occasion. Learn more at shopcmcustoms.com.
Very well. Love those people. They've been so kind to develop our signs and gifts, and really been a big part of this B.O.N.G group. They were their founder, Clarence Shaw, was one of the first 12 people to sign up to become a member of the B.O.N.G group.
Right.
Yeah, and he's been vital in all that we do. So, all right, we are here today with Josh Talbert, and you can find Josh at legacyleadershipconsulting.org. You can find him on Facebook or LinkedIn as well. And are you a LinkedIn user?
Oh, yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
I need to figure that thing out. I've been a member for 10 or 12 years, but I've never used it.
Yeah, it's a cool place. It's different. It operates differently than a lot of the other networks that we think of, but I mean, we're from the B.O.N.G, so we're different anyway.
Yeah, so that
yeah, so we can handle it.
Go invite a bunch of executives out to the B.O.N.G.
Woot woot.
All right, cool. Well, Josh, thanks for being here today.
Pleasure.
We're talking about your development as a leader, first through the Air Force, and then your undergrad degree in HR, and then John Maxwell Leadership, which what a great career path to learn and teach leadership. You've worked with executives, and who do you work with now? Who's your target client?
My primary focus has been in the nonprofit sector and in the education sector, so with schools and teachers.
What about with these entrepreneurs we're hanging out with? Is there a spot for the, I don't want to say the average entrepreneur, because the average entrepreneur is exceptional to me. But what about the average entrepreneur? Are they somebody that you could help?
Absolutely. I mean, leadership it's a lot of personal development, which we can all benefit from.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I don't know, I've always told people that have worked in my firm, hey, business is a self-development program with a great compensation package attached to the back end of it. But they have to go through the steps, and if you don't go through the steps, and that was part of our opening comments, you have to take ownership. And through programs like John Maxwell and Legacy Leadership Consulting, people can get on that path. And here's the thing about it. I don't think there's a shortcut.
No.
I just, no. It is truly about who you become in the process of all this entrepreneur endeavor and all the networking and hard work and one-on-ones. It's still about the person that you become in the progress, and there is no shortcut, right?
No, so John Maxwell likes to say everything worthwhile is uphill, which means
I don't recall hearing that, but that's great. That'll be a show note right there.
Yeah.
That means everything that's worth anything is going to require some effort.
Right.
It's going to be some level of challenge, and it's not going to come easy.
Okay. Well, that's
got to work hard for what you want.
Yeah. And I think if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Exactly.
And so that isn't the case. So what are you pursuing right now as a human? What kind of goals are you looking at? What's it look like from your standpoint as a leader and a trainer of leaders? What kind of goals do you look for?
So my business, Legacy Leadership Consulting, is still in its first year. So of course that's a goal I have. I'm still growing that business. I'm still building relationships, meeting new people, coaching, offering advice. So far, most of it's free.
Yeah.
You can follow me on my Facebook or my LinkedIn pages to get a lot of those gold nuggets from John that I like to pass on.
Right.
And the other thing I'm still working on, I was hesitant to announce publicly because if it doesn't work out, a lot of people are going to know that I failed.
Oh, we're not in public. This is just a small room with 3 dudes.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's private conversation.
Yeah.
I just before the end of the year, last year, I applied to OU Tulsa for a PhD program.
Ooh.
Oh.
So I'm still trying to learn and grow myself.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I don't have the results yet, so I'll keep you posted.
All right. I mean,
cool.
that's exciting. That's a big deal.
We're here cheering you on.
All right. Dr. Talbert sounds nice.
Well, my wife said she'd never call me that.
But we all will.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Well, please keep us up to date on that because that's, what a thing. I mean, that's leadership right there to
Yeah.
go, okay, hey,
Yeah.
to be a leader, I have to continually get a little bit better. And, we talk about that a lot. If you just get 1% better every week at what you do or your health or your finances, that in a couple of years, you're 100% better. And, it's not people say, well, you got to eat the elephant one bite at a time. That sounds awful. I like, well, you got to give me something I want to do. And I'm a literalist, like the early bird gets the worm. Ooh. Does the early bird fish?
But the second mouse gets the cheese.
The second mouse gets the cheese. That is an excellent point. All right, so that is a great goal you're pursuing. You've got, and you're doing that at a time of, I don't know that it's change in your family, but with your wife, I don't know what the right word is, hosting a baby.
We'll go with that.
I'm sorry, I've heard. I don't know.
I don't know. There's probably a better word for it, but she's a surrogate. Yeah.
She's a surrogate mom.
Yep.
That is awesome. But you're doing all of this in the middle of all of that. Yeah. And part of leadership is feeling fear, doing it anyway. I mean, do you see people that get stalled out because they have a thing as soon as fixing to, as soon as this happens, as soon as that happens, and then they sort of give up on the dream and they're not leading themselves? I mean, what say you to those people who keep putting stuff off? And you're not putting anything off. You're going for it.
Well, it may sound like that, but man, I'm just as guilty as that as anyone else.
Right.
Man, because like I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I'm really good at getting the dirty laundry clean.
Right.
But once it's clean, 5 to 7 business days to get it put up.
Wait, hang on. People put their laundry up?
Yeah, I know, right? I just walk into the laundry room and get it right out of the dryer. That's the easiest.
No, actually, I have this. I don't know much. I have a magic house. And
oh yeah,
I can leave.
Tell us more.
I leave dirty clothes and pizza boxes everywhere, and I come in the next morning, they're gone.
Yeah,
I don't want to tell my
incredible.
wife about it because I'm worried that it'll jinx it or something. But,
I need to know who built your house.
sometimes I just see how much stuff I can leave out. I come in the next morning, it's all gone.
that's like the ultimate smart home,
That's
right
amazing.
there.
I have a smart home. Yeah. Please don't tell Katie. I don't want to jinx this thing.
That's
But,
right. That's right.
It may only work for me.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I'm so sorry about that. All right. So what books have changed your life the most? I'm an avid reader. I was a reader through probably age 20, started my business at 20. And at 20 is when I really got into some of, I just didn't realize how much wisdom is out there in books. And I could once again copy off of Napoleon Hill and James Allen and all these great authors from way back. Any of those books have changed your life? And I know John Maxwell, obviously, the 21 Laws.
Yeah, so that's of course number one
Yeah,
for me.
for sure.
Because that's for me. It's such a part of my personal story because it's where it began
Yeah.
for me that sparked this curiosity that's it's going to last the rest of my lifetime.
Right.
I mean, it totally changed the trajectory of my personal and professional development.
Yeah, that first
That
book
one
is
book.
something. Yeah.
So beyond the 21 Irrefutable Laws, the next book that I usually recommend to people is actually a book called Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
It's written by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. They are former Navy SEAL officers. And it's incredible the nuggets that you come away with in that book. And I like to describe it as like watching Black Hawk Down,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but it was real.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they tell you some things that are just unbelievable that actually happened to them in Iraq.
Right.
And they tell you like the leadership lessons they learned from it. They give you in every chapter, there's a leadership principle after they tell their story of how they learned it.
Right.
And then they give you a section of that leadership principle's application to business.
Wow.
Hmm.
And the book again, Extreme Ownership.
Extreme ownership.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you need it.
And
Okay.
didn't one or both of the authors just come into town late last year and speak?
They did.
I feel like,
Yeah, I think they came in and did like a men's conference at
Yeah.
a church here in Tulsa.
That's super cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool. All right. Anything else, or are those the two takeaways for today?
There's one more.
Okay, bring it.
I like to recommend to people. It's called Drive by Daniel Pink.
Okay.
And that book focuses on human motivation, but specifically in the workplace.
Okay.
And the main concepts that you walk away with from that book are that, generally speaking, at work, people want autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
Okay.
So people want to have some level of control over their day-to-day activity.
Right.
They want autonomy. That's true for everyone.
Yeah. I think that may be why we become entrepreneurs.
That's a huge factor for a lot of people.
Right.
Some people don't like having a boss. They like being the boss.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a matter of autonomy,
Right.
getting to direct your own life.
Right.
Mastery is developing a high level of competence in your craft.
Right.
People don't want to feel like they suck,
Truth.
right?
Yeah.
You want to feel like you're good at what you do,
Right.
and you're passionate about what you do, and you need a reason to do it. That's the purpose.
Right.
Like it's a matter of, am I laying bricks? Am I building a wall? Or am I building a cathedral?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What's the goal? What's the vision? What's the purpose?
Right.
People need to know what that is.
Yeah. Agree.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Well, let's. You and I work with lots of entrepreneurs. They're all around us,
Mm-hmm.
and so often we see somebody. In fact, we just had a couple people yesterday, and they are so raw at building a business, and they'll make a Facebook post or something about, hey, I started a business because, and they'll give some reason, and I've been trying to dig in with these people, especially the younger ones. So, what kind of advice would you give to? I'm going to say young person, but somebody coming out of college is a different kind of breed because they've spent 4 years, or in my case 7 years, freshman of the year for 3 years,
Right.
and that's kind of a big deal. But so let's say you meet a smart, kind of motivated, driven college student. They want to do something. They've decided that they want to create or be something special. What advice would you give to those people?
So, especially to the college students,
Right.
the graduates,
Right.
or the people that are soon to be graduating,
Right.
or if you didn't go to college and you're an entrepreneur and you're young in your entrepreneurial journey,
Right.
regardless of your major, if you're a student, regardless of your the path that you're on, the two key concepts that I think are really going to make a difference in your life and your ability to succeed in whatever your goal is you need to learn more about two things. Leadership, number one.
Right.
And I think you'll appreciate number two, time value of money.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah,
And-
I may know something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the two main things for me that if you don't have some level of education
Mm-hmm.
you need to fix that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because those two things are going to make the biggest difference for you in the long run.
Right. Right. You agree with that, Kenneth?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That's good stuff.
Very cool. Is there any advice? Because they're entering the real world. I mean, you come out of college, that's an incubator. But when you get out in the real world, I mean, it's a very different thing. And I think their philosophies get challenged. What about advice they should ignore?
It's not quite as cutthroat as some people make it out to be.
Yeah.
There are good people out there. You don't necessarily have to look that hard to find them either.
Right.
Look at the B.O.N.G.
Oh, yeah. Man,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
I'm impressed by that every
I mean,
day.
just consider how fast this group has grown. And then you get amazing people like me in here.
Well, I'm
mean,
not even
you know.
laughing at that. I'm just I'm in concurrence in the people we've
Yeah.
had in that chair, the last 58 people in that chair, man. It's, we sit back and we're like, golly, and it gives them a chance to,
Mm-hmm.
to me, marketing is a very gentle thing about letting people know you exist and gently moving to the front of the line. And we have met some wonderful people, and some we knew were wonderful, but we just had a fellow on here.
Yeah.
He just killed it. And he's very soft-spoken, and all he needed was a platform. And I was excited about that last interview.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are talking to Josh Talbert here today, legacyleadershipconsulting.org. And we're going to go into the speed round now, something that we've made up here just for Josh. We're going to do the speed round.
Okay.
We were taking off all of our golf questions, and rapid fire wrap up, we're going to call this.
Got it.
And then we're going to get a gold nugget from you for our listeners before we wrap the show up. Okay. So here we go. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger.
Oh, please get that one right. My goodness. Good. Okay, you win the prize. Google or Microsoft?
Microsoft.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay, I'm kind of both on that one. Fruits or vegetables?
Vegetables.
All right. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Okay, comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Yes. iOS or Android?
Android.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Same. Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Knew that. Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
Ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
Okay. No hot dogs, man. That wrecks the show. Pirates or ninjas?
Pirates.
Hawaii or Alaska?
Alaska.
Okay. Chess or checkers?
Chess.
Hiking or fishing?
Fishing.
Okay. You scored a 92 on your exam.
I'll take it.
And that is an A. That's an A plus where I come from with the curve. So congratulations. We award you 500 female pigs and 500 male deer.
Wow.
And now you have $500,000.
Nice. I'll take it.
Very cool. All right. We're with Josh Talbert. Josh is going to give us a golden nugget for entrepreneurs, people living life. Josh, what say you?
I want to leave people with something that I took with me from John in this book. It's called Leadership Gold. You can imagine there's a lot of good gold nuggets
Absolutely.
that come out of this one.
Yeah, please do.
And it's from one of the last chapters in here. It's that the people who begin the journey with you seldom finish it with you.
Truth.
Right? Because their journey is not the same as your journey.
Right.
And we talked about it earlier in the show. You have to grow to get to where you want to be, to become who you want to become. And someone else's growth journey almost never is going to mirror yours.
Right.
You may be on different trajectories. You may be going at different paces. And some people aren't up for the ride.
Right.
And so you have to be okay with sometimes saying goodbye to people, right? The relationships are in your life for a reason and for a season.
Right.
And the duration of those seasons vary.
Beautifully written, beautifully spoken. Thank you, Josh Talbert. You can find Josh at legacyleadershipconsulting.org. Josh Talbert, you can find him on the Facebook, which is a new thing, MySpace, and on LinkedIn as well. Josh, thank you for being here today. What a wonderful show.
Appreciate it, Cash.
Kenneth, you ready to wrap her up for the day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I think that's a wrap, and we are thankful for Josh Talbert being here today, for our sponsors who keep this show going, and for all of you who continue to watch over and over and over and share with your friends. We thank you. We hope that you're able to glean something from these amazing people who come on and share their lives. They share their fears, and they share their celebrations here on Cashflows. So for today, let's all be nice to each other. Let's make good decisions for ourselves and our family. And just for today, maybe find that one person that you need to forgive but absolutely does not deserve it. Because isn't that really one of the great messages in life, that we've all really been forgiven? And forgiveness is not about that other person. It's about you and the anchor that you've placed around your waist to be dragging through life. And sometimes it's just better to give that up. Maybe think about that a little bit. And to our friends out there who continue to like and watch our show, and to Kenneth, thank you for being right here and being such a giant part of making this thing come.
You're welcome.
So that's it, friends. This show, it's about you, and we're glad you're here. Thanks for watching Cashflows.
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cash Flows.